3 times. 4 times. Doing gang things, living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you, you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters, got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy, could've turned out like your homeboy. Been on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had gold. Brand new you on the old time road, take care. Home where you bust your low. Black men don't teach, screaming bond these hoes. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 20 twin, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you peep these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing cane things.
Mono.
Living super clean. That done came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that pop, I'ma let it rain. All praises to the
Doing cane things.
Mono.
Living super clean. That done came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I submit.
Tune in to Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue Magad. Now also available on Messiah TV on Roku and Fire Stick. Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass. Don't miss it, sisters and cousins.
Let him save you in the end like a Seminole. Beers help me, shout it, let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono. Shalom and shalom to you all. Peace and blessings, grace and peace, however you want to accept it. Thank you all for being here with me this evening. All praises to the Most High for life, health, and strength, man, for just the breath in our bodies, okay? I was talking to my 7-year-old yesterday. We were leaving the store, and we were making plans to go swimming on Friday. We're going swimming Friday. So we were talking about, when we wake up, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I was telling him, like, you always have to say God willing. And he's like, why? We're just going to get up. He was like, if I don't say that, he was asking me something to the effect of, how is that going to help me wake up? And I was explaining to him, like, it's not in our power to wake ourselves up in the morning. We only wake up in the morning if the Most High deems it to be so. So even us making plans, like, we never want to take for granted the ability, okay? We never want to take for granted living, the breath in our body, the blood running through our veins, the mental capacity, the physical capacity to do things. So all praises to the Most High. Divine Lee, shalom and shalom. Thank you for joining me. Yamaya, thank you for joining me. As always, Monologue Brigade in the building, everybody. Thank you, husband. Like, share, subscribe wherever you are joining me from. Shout out to everybody on the TikTok, on the YouTube, on Facebook. If you are watching from the Monologue Magad YouTube, please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. If you are not up on our schedule, let me just run it down a little bit. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Talk About It Tuesdays with Spirit-Filled Israel. That's my wonderful husband, Monologue Magad, and Pastor Kendall. Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. Thursday mornings at 9 a.m., there's Spirit-Filled Israel Bible study. If you are not following Spirit-Filled Israel, please give them a follow on your social media platforms. So that's Thursday at 9 a.m. for Bible study, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Talk About It Tuesdays. And then, hello, you're here with me Thursdays at 8 p.m. while Boaz on One Your Ass. Every now and then we come through with a Sabbath Night Live. It really just depends on, like, the workload that we have going on and if I can pull my husband away for a second. So, but y'all, like, DM him, nudge him, let him know we need Sabbath Night Live. We like Sabbath Night Live. Let him know. My man does work hard, though. Shout out to Blowy on the TikTok. How you doing, baby? I love you. Yes, that's my child. So let me just let y'all know, like, I know that we are lacking righteous content, right? Sometimes you just want to watch something that does not make you compromise your salvation. So listen, download the Messiah TV app. It's on your Roku, on your Fire Sticks, on your Apple TVs, Messiah TV. If you can't get to the app and you're just watching it on a web browser, Messiah.tv will bring it right up on your browser. Listen, top tier content, okay? Not just while Boaz don't want your ass, but a variety of talk shows, informational shows from all across Israel. There's movies, there's cartoons, there's stuff for the kids, there's stuff for the adults, there's stuff for the whole family. So make sure you download the Messiah TV app. Shout out to my audience on Messiah TV. And I think that's it. Yeah. Got the preliminaries out the way, I want to say. So today's main topic, I don't have a lot of, like, other stuff because I think that one other thing I want to talk about is kind of a big deal, okay? So the main topic, hello, are you there? We're going to talk about checking ourselves. We're going to do a self-check-in. We're going to examine ourselves. We're going to take a moment to be present and evaluate our lives and what is going on with us. But before we get into that, I would like to talk to y'all about something that you may or may not agree with. I don't know. But I just want to say that I, for one, am tired of hearing about this 50th anniversary of hip hop. I'm tired of hearing about it. And let's be clear, just for to lay it out for this conversation, rap is a form of music, okay? So when I speak of hip hop culture, I'm not speaking of the art of rapping. That is not what I'm talking about. My issue is they try to present this culture as if it is a natural affect of being a descendant of slaves here in America. Okay, because who else are they targeting with this kind of stuff? I know they like to tell you that Caucasian children are the largest consumers of rap music, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that it's our children that are affected by the message in the music, okay? And so the question is, what are we celebrating here? What are we celebrating? What has hip hop come to substantiate? Yanika, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. What has hip hop come to substantiate when you're putting it in the context of Black culture here in America? Yes, honey. You're full? Okay, that's fine. You can leave your bowl on the table, okay?
I ate all my vegetables.
Thank you for eating all your vegetables. Okay, just leave the rest of it on the table, okay? Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Mommy duties. So, I'm sorry, what was I saying? Atticus? So, I'm speaking of when they try to put hip hop culture in the context of Black American culture. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. Y'all see what goes on when my husband is not here? He is out working, okay? The man is out doing work somewhere else, but he is missed. Terry, back home, please. Okay, so hip hop culture in terms of just this general overarching or labeling as Black culture, if you will. Okay, and I have a problem with this because that is not our culture. Okay, we descendants of slaves here in the Americas and even abroad, because this is being pushed. I'm gonna say this. Anywhere you find descendants of slaves, you will find hip hop as the prevalent dominant culture. Okay. They had it right when they said we're not against rap, we're not against rappers, but we are against those thugs. Right, exactly. Right. And that's true. That's exactly what it is. But what exactly are we celebrating here? What are we celebrating? If you go back to, they always like to take you back to DJ Kool Herc and how they used to DJ parties in the park back in the Bronx and Brooklyn, and how hip hop grew from there. Okay? But what did it grow into? Are we talking about what it grew into? Because it went from basement parties, yes, graffiti, break dancing, all these other elements came to be. But what do we have now? What has that turned into, and at whose hand has it turned into that? Because all good for the mixtapes and the parties in the park back in Brooklyn, but at what point did it go from a Black-owned, Black, what am I looking for? Curated living experience to what we have now? Because this what we have now, this hip hop, that this culture, this quote unquote culture that they are handing to us now, it's not owned by Black people. It's not curated by Black people. We are merely the figureheads on a script that they have given us. Okay? Your Sukianas, your Sexy Reds, your Cardi B's, your Nicki Minaj, your Meg Thee Stallion. These are all literally puppets with a hidden hand up there behind. And we never point to the hand, right? Because the hand's job is to keep us distracted. Okay? So they put the puppets up there to make it look shiny. I venture to say that if Cardi B was presenting herself in her original form, hollering the same message that she's hollering, I venture to say that she would not be as big as she is. Because nobody wants to hear about being robbed and adventures of whoredom from a regular looking Black girl or Latin girl, whatever she claims to be. And nobody wants to hear about selling drugs and gangsta-isms and all this other stuff from some regular looking broke dude. Well, not broke. Let me not say broke. Regular looking dude. Let me say that. Like, just think about it. That is why so much money is put into these images. That is why so much bling, so much lights. So it has to be hyper sensualized, what am I trying to say? Like, it has to appeal to as many of your five senses as it possibly can in order to entice you. Because if it wasn't for the enticement, if it wasn't for the lust of the eye, you would not be buying the message. What are the three elements of sin? Lust of the eye, lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. Okay? And let's just be real. This form of hip hop is designed to fulfill those lusts. Okay, you have your lust of the flesh, lust of the eye. I mean, I kind of consider those the same things. They make everything look good. They make everything look shiny. And then the pride of life. Nothing's going to happen to me. Look at me. I've been shot 9 times. Nothing's happened to me. This nigga did this to me. They tried to take me out. Oh, the ops rolled up on me, but you know what I'm saying? These things, okay? And it's very upsetting to me because this is not who we are. If you remove the sensationalism, and again, if you remove the puppeteers, I could only imagine how much more uplifting and edifying the message of our music would be. Okay? But right now, what you have being broadcast, what you have being magnified is, like my husband said, messages of whoredom and Black on Black violence. So again, what are we celebrating here? What are we celebrating? And I don't know how closely you've followed the progression of rap music or whatever, but a noticeable what do I want to call it? Like milestone, or let's call it a watershed moment, because it is a moment when everything changed. Okay, when you talk about I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to move out the way. Like my husband usually does this for me. I'm trying to move this thing right. Okay, so when you talk about the watershed moment of gangster rap becoming a thing. You have voices like Public Enemy, voices like KRS-One, your what is that group called? Like the Right Conscious Leaders or something like Leaders of the New School. You had your earlier Busta Rhymes, those kind of where it was just fun. Music was fun. You could put on a song, you could dance. Let's talk about Rob Bass, DJ Easy Rock, those kind of things that you could put on in front of your parents and you could play at a barbecue and everybody could dance and it was cool. And then you go from this to gangster rap, which totally turned everything upside down, okay? And I want to dive into this because we do, this is a show for women, by a woman, about women. You brothers are more than welcome to participate, but I want to focus on the female aspect of this. Sister Delta, shalom and shalom. Thank you for joining me, sis. The female aspect of this. By the looks of it, most are celebrating death. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what we're doing. But so let's talk about the female aspect of this, okay? Because it occurs to me that the same kind of shift you see with the introduction of gangster rap is kind of the same thing that occurs when you see the introduction of Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, all these more sex-forward female rappers. If you remember before then, who did we have? Roxanne Shante. She was always fully dressed. MC Lyte, always fully dressed. Salt and Pepper. I mean, they may have had their stomachs out, but it's nothing like what we see now. Okay? I remember Yo-Yo. I remember Mia X. Okay? Mia X, the biggest boss, whatever she used to call herself, like she always presented herself as a lady. Queen Latifah, these sisters came out, but they presented themselves as ladies, fully clothed, weaponizing their intelligence as opposed to their sexuality. This is when women had something to say. This is when Black women had a voice. This is when a woman would go round for round on a diss track with you and it didn't have to get nasty, sexual, raunchy, or violent. And so now we live in a world. Angelina, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. Yes, I loved Mia X, okay? The biggest mom. I loved her, right? But then you had the emergence of the hyper-sexualized female rapper, all right? And I was in high school when Lil' Kim came out, all right? So, yes, I was rapping those lyrics too because in my young, impressionable high school mind, and also as being a female who generally did not get along with other females, like to hear a girl rapping from the point of view of being the only girl in the crew and all this stuff, it was like, oh, okay, I can relate to this. Dummy. I was being dumb. Yes, I was. Okay. So it was something like you kind of grabbed onto, not realizing that it was basically sent for our own destruction, right? Because whereas you have Queen Latifah on the one hand, like, no, don't disrespect me, don't call me a bitch, don't do none of that. You have Lil' Kim on the other hand coming addressing herself as the bitch. Queen bee, queen bitch, all this other stuff. She's addressing herself as that. Okay? MC Lyte too. I mean, you go back to the 90s. It wasn't all this nakedness and whoredom. This wasn't what female rap was about. It was about empowerment. And I'm not going to say that it was in line biblically with, being submissive to the male and all this stuff. I'm not going to say that. but it was about empowerment of the female mind over empowerment of the female body. And we live in a day and time now where it's just about empowerment of the female body. Everything is sex positive and sex forward, right? And so what you may be saying is, well, white people consume hip hop too, and they seem to be doing well. What you don't understand is white people come and borrow hip hop. Okay, and this is why we can't keep letting them call it black culture. We didn't make this up. This is not what was packaged in Brooklyn and played at the parties. This is not what we grew up on. So we have to stop letting them put this on us. Especially the way that the alphabet mafia has come in and is now starting to claim space in this genre and claim that they've been here the whole time. I beg us to ask, whose culture is this really? Whose culture is this really? Why is so much lesbianism propagated through hip hop? Why are black men now being devalued in a genre that they once ran? Do you hear about how these female rappers talk about our men like they ain't good for nothing but money and, you know, the other thing? Hold on, guys. Y'all know what I'm talking about? They just good for money and they good for a baby when you want one. You don't got to keep the man. You could just take the baby. You don't got to keep the man. So they good for that too. They're good for that too. So what are we celebrating? Because when you turn on a female rap video, all you're going to see is ass shaking. If there's more than one girl in the video, they're going to be touching each other. There's going to be suggested sexuality, stimulated sex, like there's going to. So what else are we doing? And see, here's what I was saying earlier. White people are the biggest consumers of rap music, right? But they seem to be not affected by the issues that plague the black community that are propagated in our music. You want to know why? Because little Billy or little Sally might be bumping whoever, you know, in their Jeep on their way home from school to their pristine subdivision with both of their parents waiting to lead God and direct them. Okay, but Keisha and Tyrone and them is listening to it on a bus, and then they get off the bus and there's nobody home to make them cut that off. There's nobody home to have the conversation, to lead God and direct them in the right way. And so what so many people had been saying but had failed to be acknowledged, this hip hop has become a parent to our children. Because what do you escape through music. You listen to music to lose yourself. And so we can't deny that fact. We can't deny that when we are listening to music, a story is being told to us. A vision is being laid out for us. The artist has set this vision before us for us to partake it. Now, when you are talking about visual art, that is a different kind of consumption, okay? Because there's not so much able to be propagated through it. The artist painted a painting, or he put together a mural. This is it. There's nothing else driving your thought but what you see with your naked eye. If you were to take a Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion video and remove the music and all the accompanying sound, you would probably be sitting there like, what the hell are they doing? Why are they doing this? Because without the music and the words, the visual looks stupid. It looks dumb. Without the background of hip hop, and I mean, even with it, I'm 42. Okay, I know I'm not 20 anymore. I'm not the target audience. I get that. Okay, but I'm sorry, not sorry. Okay, it's still a certain amount of jewelry that's just too much. Like, it's a certain amount of putting the swag on where you start to look weird. Like, you start to look crazy. And if not for the background of hip hop dictating our thoughts, everybody else would be able to look and say, oh, that looks crazy too. Because how come we have not had such an explosion of Black female sexuality before this time period? And here, I'm not saying that Black women have not been sexual before that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, look at the progression before the civil rights movement, the state of the Black women, the state of the Black family, and after the civil rights movement, and how it's progressed from there. We went from having strong Black families to the majority of our children growing up in two-parent homes, to now the majority of our children are being raised by single mothers. And even still, again, here's another example of when they remove the man out of the home, now they can come in and pick apart the family. Because once they got the man out the house, now everybody else is easy pickings. And I never understood this until I had a man in my house. I feel it when he's not home. Y'all, listen, y'all see me right now. I feel it when my man is not home. And I don't care what somebody is saying in your ear. If they don't feel it when their man is not home, it's because that's not a good man. So a good man, you're going to feel his absence. Okay? Let's be clear on that. You're going to feel his absence. It wasn't about submission, but it was about respect. Yes, respect. Absolutely. Respect. Great. It wasn't about submission. It was about respect. Respecting each other, us respecting them, and them respecting us. Because by that time of Queen Latifah, what you did have was female rappers standing up to gangster rap and the disrespect towards Black women that was propagated in gangster rap. So yes, that is what it was about. Thank you, sis. Thank you. They use our music to teach their children what not to do. Hello? What not to do. Don't be like that. Don't be like them. And so I just want us to really think about what we're accepting. I remember when people started labeling themselves as hip hop, like this was a label, like I'm not Black no more, I'm hip hop, that kind of thing. And so even with all that, we have to look at what we are contributing ourselves to, what we are contributing our energy to, what we are giving our attention to. No, we can't avoid it. you can't avoid it. The world we live in, and the fact that so many screens are just widely around. Yes, honey. I'm not finished yet. Are you okay?
Have some milk.
Can you have some milk?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes. Can you ask your brother to pour you some milk? Okay?
Okay.
Okay, love you.
Wait.
Okay. The fact that, sorry, y'all, the fact that so many screens are around, the fact that it's, please close that door, baby. Thank you. The fact that it's so easy for them to put these images in our faces, and not just our faces, the faces of our children. I want it to cause us to stop and think about what we're doing. And so that's going to get into our main topic. So let's go ahead and get into our main topic. And yes, I titled it, Hello, Are You There? Because I feel like I know I have went through life sometimes, not always conscious, so to say. And when I'm saying conscious, I don't mean conscious like some kind of super deep, mystical. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you being fully aware and in your right mind of the decisions that you are making every day. What do I mean by that? Because on the surface, you may feel like, oh, yes, of course, I'm conscious. I'm awake. I walk through my life. Yes, I am. But are you really? If you can, just take a minute to think about this, okay? Some of us are such creatures of habit and such creatures of routine that we do not ever sit down and assess and evaluate how we are spending our time. Are we valuing our time? Are we making the most of our time? Unfortunately, in this world of hustle, hustle, go, go, consumerism, capitalism, spend all the money, reflection and self-assessment is not encouraged, let alone accommodated. The average person is working 8 to 10 hours a day. If they have a family, they're leaving work, they're coming home and dealing with children and a spouse, which leaves little time for sleep, let alone self-reflection. And I totally get that. I get it. Okay. So I want us to take this moment, and I don't want y'all to be thrown off by mindfulness. I know we have to be very careful because a lot of this new age spirituality can be made to sound one way and it's actually something else. But when we're talking about mindfulness, I really take that as being in the present moment, whatever that may be. Whether you're at work, whether you're with your children, whether you're in school, whether you're just hanging out. It's stopping and looking around at what you're doing and the people around you. Consider yourself and how you carry yourself day to day. Are you making the most of your time, gifts, and talents? And what we fail to realize is, in order to even tap into that potential, you have to be tapped into the Most High. You have to be plugged into your source. When I was coming down here, my phone was about to die. So I had to run upstairs, get a charger and a box, and come plug it back in. If you are not plugged in to a source, how are you being inspired? And this is why the source of your inspiration is important as well. You And if y'all missed the Bible study this morning, please go back and listen to it. It was wonderful, wonderful Bible study. It was a great reminder. Also, it's not just always for new people or backsliders or whatever. No, like even if you've been in this thing for a while, it's good to have your faith renewed and to just be reminded. So if you missed Bible study this morning, go back and listen to it. But how can you try to grow anything? How can you try to do anything? It's like my 5-year-old trying to teach himself how to read without an adult. He doesn't know how to do it. You don't know how to fulfill the vision that you think that you have, and you won't be quiet with the instructor long enough for you to get the instructions. It's just like school. You won't sit with the Most High long enough. You won't open the text. You won't study the material. You won't research the material. You won't do anything. You won't invest in your relationship with the Most High, which costs you absolutely nothing. It's free 99. It only costs you your time and your effort. And that's the least that you could do. You understand what I'm saying? So let's start there. Like when you wake up in the morning, do you even take a beat to just look around, appreciate your surroundings, appreciate where you're waking up? Have you ever had the displeasure of waking up somewhere where you didn't want to be? You left the house and woke up in jail, woke up in the hospital. You understand what I'm saying? These are the things that we take so much for granted. Are you thankful for what you have? There's nothing wrong with wanting more, but at first we have to learn how to be content. In all things, no matter what, are you content? And I feel like this, our society is so hell bent on keeping us just moving. They don't want us to be content. A content person does not make a very good consumer. Because if you're content with what you have, then you're going to make do with what you got at the house. Or whatever I got at the house, that's what I'm going to make for dinner. That's cool. I don't need anything else. I'm cool with the clothes I have. I don't feel the need to be out here shopping like that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with shopping, okay? Let's be clear about that. But are you content with what you have? Like, seriously, if you could not procure another item, are you content? Can you sit in your house right now today and be fine with you and your house and whatever is in it? You don't know the peace of contentment until you have it. Let me tell you something. That being able to sit in the house and not feel like you need nothing from the outside, such a peaceful relief. It's like one of the best things. Hey, Big Daddy. My love, Daddy.
I want you to keep going on about the not shopping and doing what you're doing.
You're not in the right spirit.
Keeping what you
You're
got
not
at
in the right
home.
spirit. I said there's nothing wrong with shopping. Did you hear that part? That's the part. That's the part I want you.
Lord muted me from that part.
Oh, see, that's the part you should have heard. Like, share, subscribe, you guys. Turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. If I'm saying something you like, $1 or $2 will do. Cash App the House of Mono. Okay, so contentment, right? Because you'll be constantly on a paper chase. And what nobody tells you until it's too late is that while you are on a paper chase, life is continuing to go on. While you are on a paper chase, your spouse is is still living every day. Your spouse still has needs that have to be met. Your children are growing and learning and forming their personalities and becoming who they are. And don't get me wrong, like we talk about this a lot here at the House of Mono. Okay, yes, we need the income. Money answereth all things. What's that? Ecclesiastics 9:13, I think. Money answereth all things. So let's be clear on that. I am not saying, unless you feel led to live off the grid and do all that, then by all means, God bless you. But I have not been called to that ministry. So I'm going to speak from this standpoint of, yes, bills have to be, I don't even know how to say this, but like if the bills aren't paid, there's no peace. Okay? Let's be clear. I'm not talking about contentment in disorder. You should not be content if your life is in shambles. Okay? Maybe I should stop. Let's back up and go there. Okay? It's hard to be content when you're worried about the lights getting cut off. You're worried about being evicted. And so in those times, no, you need to feel some pressure. You need to get that together. Okay? Let's be clear about that. I'm not excusing that at all. But what I am saying is once you are up, look, sis said you still need the funds to be able to get to the point to live off grid. Right, because don't that cost money too to live off the grid now? But speaking from a point of balance in your life, you have to start like finding that contentment there. If you cannot be content with you and the Most High and your cat, dog, or bullfrog, whatever you have, then you will not be content with anyone else. All you are going to do is bring misery to that person. Let me assure y'all of something. Just because you're married doesn't mean that you're never alone, and it doesn't mean that you don't ever get lonely. I miss hanging out with my friends. Like, I miss being able to just get up and go when I wanted to. Sure. But I'm cool with where I am. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm not at the stage of life where that's appropriate. It's not appropriate for me to be out all hours and no clock and I have a husband and children at home. And so I'm content with where I am enough that I'm not trying to live someone else's life. I'm not trying to live a life that's going to be destructive to what I should be building. And when you are not content, you cannot focus on the assignment ahead of you. It's just like trying to sit down and do your homework when you're hungry. You're not going to be able to focus on the assignment because you're still needing something else. Okay? So that's why the most important thing is to get stable within yourself. And we talked about this before. I really hate this for us as Black girls, that we are not taught to slow down and find that time. Okay? And Lord, it's just a hot mess, because how could our mothers have taught us that when they were working 2-3 jobs to provide for us, to keep us? You know what I'm saying? They didn't. I'm not even sure if they got the lesson of self-love and self-fulfillment. Hold on, let's go through these comments. Shalom and shalom, Drew Mills. Thank you for joining me. It takes about $20K for the building, not including the land or the taxes. See, you can't even go off the grid for free. Thank you so much, sis. Ecclesiastes 10:19. A feast is made for laughter and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things. Thank you. I knew it was Ecclesiastes. I just wasn't sure where exactly. I'm sorry. There's an echo in the next room. So where were we going with this? Okay, being content with who you are. And I want us to get this because we as women make so many bad decisions when we are emotionally vulnerable. And here's another danger of not acknowledging that, of living in a time where we're just supposed to be so equal to men that we don't acknowledge the differences that actually leave us open to destruction. You won't acknowledge your emotional vulnerability, which means that some hunter, some predator can now come and take advantage of you. We're too busy trying to keep up with those around us, trying to build whatever you're trying to do that's keeping you from being honest with yourself and slowing down and saying, you know what? Let me reconnect and see what God has for me. Even the very relationships that you are keeping, your so-called friends, your so-called boyfriend, whatever the case may be, are you really making an honest assessment of those people? And I know some of y'all is going to mentally turn me off right now because you don't want to hear the truth about the man that you are dating. I know, I get it. Right? It's hard to listen to the truth. It's hard to listen to the truth, especially when you know it already. You know he ain't no good. You know this relationship is not the one for you. You know she ain't no good. I get it. That's your only friend. She the only one that'll hang out with you. But every time you turn around, the conversation is condescending. The conversation is depressing. It's negative. She's putting you down. Always comparing herself to you or comparing herself to other people or comparing you to other people. And it's a burden on you when you leave from around this. Before you get around this person, your spirit already takes a dive. It's like, oh, damn, here we go again. When by the time you leave this person, you're so drained, you're so depleted, you are so emotionally damaged. It's like you're hurting. It's like you have to go and recover after you spend time with this person, but you keep going around this person because you have not learned to be content. And I feel like this is what people may be meaning to say when they speak of loving yourself enough to the point where, oh, you don't need nobody else and all this other stuff. Maybe loving yourself is putting it in a way that is not easily conceptualized, or it's not easy for most people to grasp mentally. What do I mean by that? I need instructions, okay? If you tell me to go do A, B, and C, I need you to lay out A, B, and C, and then I can go do that, no problem, all right? But if you tell me, hey, go and reassemble that motor, and I have no idea how to reassemble a motor, you know I don't know how to reassemble a motor, I'm not going to be able to do anything with just some general reassemble a motor. No, I need you to show me how. What am I supposed to do? What's step one? What are the tools I even need? Am I even equipped to do this? And so it's the same thing when we talk about self-love, loving ourselves, appreciating ourselves. Are we given the tools for this? Do we even know how to do this? And I'm going to go ahead and answer the question and say, if you have not been taught to keep the law and the faith in the Messiah, then no, you have not been given the tools to be content. You have not been given the tools to love yourself. And so let's take this moment to talk about it. And yes, as I love to remind you, you are now responsible for this information. Let me get to some of these comments. I love to remind y'all of that. Yes. And you know why? Because you have to hold yourself accountable. On that day, you're not going to be able to tell the Most High, I didn't know. Nobody told me. I had no clue. Ignorance is no excuse of the law. That applies in America as well as to the Bible. You have no reason to be ignorant. The prophets are prophesying. The word is circulating so easily. Just like Pastor Kendall said today, the Bible is free on this very same internet that you are watching me on. All you have to do is, after this show is over, open up your Google browser and put in Bible. The whole entire Bible will be laid before you. Okay, come on. Being content, Philippians 4:11-13. Yes, not that I speak of what I want, for I have learned whatever state I am therewith to be content. Exactly. That is another one of my faves. Ain't no boyfriend. Once I start back dating, I'm almost 30. Listen, I feel like after like 25, that boyfriend thing is dead. That's dead. We grown, all right? I'm trying to get married. If you're not trying to get married, then next. Like, we're not doing all that. We're not hanging on. We're not doing boyfriend, girlfriend while we hanging on. No, because, and I'm going to tell you why I advise this for women. Now, let me be clear. My husband always says this. I need to be clear. I am in no way advising anyone to sleep around. I am not advising you to mislead any men. I am not advising you to lead anyone on. I'm not advising you to play any kind of games. Absolutely not. That is not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that you have to date smart. Okay? And it is not smart to be caught up or to be being strung along with someone who you absolutely know that you cannot have a future with, or he's not sure about a future with you. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, if he's not ready to marry you in 3 months, then he's wrong. No, I'm not going to put no crazy timeline on it like that. But I don't think, and brothers in the audience, please correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think it takes a man that long to know what he wants to do with you. Just like it don't take us that long to figure out what we want to do with this man. We know if we like this man or not. We know if we're going to take this man serious or not pretty quickly. Same thing with them. They can look at us and assess and see what they want to do with us. Come on now, ladies. If y'all been out there in that life, you know a trick when you see one. You know a paymaster when you see one. You come on. You know as soon as he open his mouth and shake your hand, you already know, oh, this gonna be easy. Or you already know what role you need him to fulfill. Like, yep, this is gonna be a couple of easy meals. Oh, I could use him for some entertainment when I'm bored. So why do you feel like they're not making the same assessment about you? And then just like we do, they treat you accordingly. If that man ain't nothing but a trick to you, you're going to treat him like a trick. You'll talk to him when you want to talk to him, or you'll talk to him right when you feel like he about to start tripping. Then you go over there, show your face for a day or two, talk real sweet to him, spend some time with him, and then you leave and go back to doing what you really want to be doing. Why can't you see when they are doing the same thing to you? Thank you, Drew Mills. Thank you, sir. But y'all will sit there and keep making excuses. Oh, he work a lot. Oh, he this. Oh, he that. Well, why he still live with his baby mama? Oh, because he can't afford. Well, then he shouldn't be affording to date nobody else. Like, come on, y'all. Okay, you can smell a trick. You can smell the trick coming. Soon as as you make eye contact, come on, y'all. I am not the only one. I know I ain't the only one. Soon as you make eye contact, soon as you see him looking at you, you've already assessed whether it's good or bad. You've already started calculating in your head how this is going to go. They do the same thing to us. And some of them are slick enough to cover it up. They'll approach you decently. Hello, how are you? My name is such and such. Can I get your number? I'd like to take you out sometime. Some of them care to put up a front. Some of them do not care. Some of them will hit you with a ski and your stupid butt turn around. Ayo ma, ayo shorty, and you turn around like a dummy. That's your first sign right there. He not taking you seriously. Be skiing me like I'm some kind of crackhead or something. They blowing the horn, you turning around. Stop settling for less. Time out. Assess your behavior. Have you been guilty of this? Listen, I'm telling y'all right now, I know it's some of y'all sitting here listening and a name or two is popping up in your head like, yep, he sure did do that to me. What is the status of your relationship now? Are you happy with it? And if not, why are you still in it? And I'm not talking to anybody that's married. Let's be clear. If you married, you stuck. Oh, well. I'm talking to y'all that's still out here making choices. I'm talking to y'all that still got options. Stop letting the devil and his minions waste your time. Because while you're sitting there making excuses for this half effort of a relationship that buddy is giving to you, time is passing by. Your youth is slipping away from you. You are never going to be as young as you are in this second again. And I used to not understand that. Oh, but I get it now. There are things that I could do at 40 that I struggle to do at 42. I'm talking about staying up past 10 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, life continues. Time does not stop. There's no way to stop the clock to wait for you to get your mind together. I understand that you already feel like you're behind the class. I get it. You're a single mom. You ain't got no education. I understand how things are looking. But what I am telling you is that it is very possible for you to totally 180 your situation if you're willing to stop and put in the work. And I'm not talking about this easy BS that the world is trying to give us as work. I'm talking about the work that the Lord set before us, keeping the laws and having faith in his son. I'm talking about that work. I'm not talking about no shadow BS work journal. And I'm telling y'all, stay away from that. Stay away from that shadow work journal. That is not, that ain't right. Stop being so quick to search for advices from worldly sources. Stop messing with these tarot cards and these psychics and these horoscopes and everything else. Y'all are playing with fire and you don't even understand what you're doing. Be honest with yourself. And listen, some of y'all might feel like y'all trapped for whatever reason. Be honest though. This is what I'm saying. Like when I come and talk to you guys, I'm not talking from a place of extreme. Like when we're having this conversation, I'm talking from a place of, I'm doing all right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got some stuff that I can work on, but in general, I'm okay. I'm not talking from a place of extremes, but please understand, if you are in a place of extreme, God works in extremes too. He specializes in extremes. If you would just give him a chance and totally surrender yourself and your situation to him. And let me be clear, okay? Some people can hear something and they go start making changes immediately. Like they can just cut people off. They can change their habits. All praises to the Most High for that. Some people struggle with certain things. Like, some stuff is not a problem for me. Alcohol has never been a temptation for me. Do I enjoy a drink when I'm hanging out? Yeah, I'm a social drinker. I have a drink or two, but I'm not one to get drunk. Like, I don't, you ain't got to worry about me overindulging, because as soon as this hit me, I don't like that feeling. So you ain't got to worry about that. Some people, alcohol is a problem for them. Okay? So, Lord, I got a problem with this. Lord, I have a problem with, this is my issue. I know I'm not supposed to be messing with him, God, but he helping me pay my rent. So I kind of am afraid to let him go right now. I know I'm not supposed to be hanging out with her, but she's the only friend that I seem to have, Lord, and I'm tired of being alone. I'm tired of being lonely. I'm tired of not having nobody to talk to. Lord, please give me the strength to go through what I need to go through in order to get out of this situation that I'm in. Because I know it's hard to cut him off, boo. I know you think you love him. And listen, especially if he helping out with the bills. I get it. I totally understand. But what you have to understand is there's something better for you out there. You just have to not be afraid to let that go. You can't think about rock climbing. You can't grab onto the next rock to pull yourself up until you're willing to let go of the one that you are holding on that is keeping you in the place that you claim that you don't want to be. And I'm not making fun. I'm not judging. I am totally remembering when I was that person doing things that I didn't want to be doing, hanging around people that I didn't, knowing that I deserved better in life. Like, God, I know you got more for me. You told me you had more for me. All my life, I've been hearing that there's more for me. So why am I in this mess that I'm in right now? Please help me to help myself. Sometimes we fail to realize the power that is available to us to overcome these situations because we don't want to commit. Is it easy? No, it's not going to be easy, boo-boo. You're going to miss him. You're going to be lonely. You might start struggling with that very same bill again. But see, so here's a situation where it's like better to have never got in the situation in the first place. Because if you would have never got dependent on Buddy to pay that bill, you understand what I'm saying? If you would have never started sleeping with old boy, you wouldn't have to go through the detox. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have to go through the heartache. If you would have never started running around with her in the first, you understand what I'm saying? So, yes, that is very true. Yeah, I should have never did it in the first place, but I'm here now. Okay, but you don't have to keep going. It's like when you're leaving the beach and you walking off the shore and you start to feel the water, getting higher, and now it's up here right under your nose. And if I keep going into this, I'm gonna die. But if I turn around and walk back, that's hard too. But at least you're not gonna die. So you understand? Turn around. You're not going to die. That's a sermon. I'm gonna make that a message. Turn around. You're not gonna die. Yes, it's going to hurt. You're going to have to fight to get out there. See, this is the thing. It's fun walking away from the shore, right? When you're walking off the sand and the water is by your feet and it's all peaceful and calm and you can frolic and play and make waves. That's fun. Right? It's fun going out, drinking, hanging out with your homegirls, going home with this one and that one, running game on this one and that one. It's fun. It's fun to not pay your rent and go and shop and go and eat and put it off for another day. Yeah, it's fun. But when it's time to fix it, because remember, if you keep going, you're going to die. And I don't mean a physical death. I mean a spiritual death, an emotional death, a mental death, a part of. And when I tell y'all that if it wasn't for the grace of God literally reaching and pulling me out of the mess I was in, I guarantee you I would be in prison right now. Right now, today. Prison, federal. No questions asked. I was guilty. Yes, I did it. I remember specifically God told me, okay, it's time for you to go. And I was so busy having fun, running the streets, having fun. I'm not ready yet, Lord. I'm not ready. This is still fun. I'm not ready. It's still fun. And then the fun got real. The fun got real, okay? And it was still a little fun, because it was just real moments. It wasn't like an overall, no, it was just some real moments. You know what I'm saying? But it was still fun. So it was but it was like, and if you ever had one of these moments with the Most High, you know what I'm saying. It's time to go, and I mean right now. It was one of them. Okay? I don't know if y'all have ever had the Most High had to deal with y'all like that. Maybe y'all have been really cool and obedient all your lives, so he ain't never had to talk crazy to you. Okay? But it was one of them oh, okay, he ain't playing with me. It's time to go. I went and I put my 2 weeks notice in at my job and I started selling my stuff off in my apartment and I was out of there a month later. Unfortunately, I'm a hard-headed child. And this is not the first time that the Most High has had to deal with me like that. But this felt different. And so I want to encourage you to, again, assess where you are. How is the Most High dealing with you right now? Are you maybe not tuned in all the way like you should be and you're missing some things? Because warning comes before destruction. In my opinion, it comes multiple times. Because he loves us. It's going to come multiple times. You'll get a little ding. You'll get a little hint. Something else will happen before the whole thing collapses in on you. And at that time, you have no one to blame but yourself. And so I'm trying to stop you from walking out. I'm trying to stop you from keep walking away from the shore and drowning yourself. Drowning yourself. Because as much as we like to male bash and everything else, at the end of the day, only you are responsible for what happens to you. You are wearing that heartache. Not him, not his friends, not his family, not nobody else. You're dealing with that. You're lucky if he's even giving you a second thought. You are lucky if they even think of you, if they even text you, if they even pick up the phone. And here's the thing, right? As we all know, You ain't getting no sympathy from nobody these days. You can get on this worldwide internet and try to complain about that man if you want to, and nobody's going to have any sympathy for you. There was a clip. I've meant to play y'all this clip. I'll play it next week. I'm going to put that on a shirt. Turn around. You ain't going to die. I'll put that on a shirt. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. If you like something I said or you like what we're doing here, $1 or $2 will do. $, the House of Mono at the Cash App. So yeah. So self-assessment. All right. And really just have a moment with yourself. You know, if you need to get out a pen and paper, do that and write down the different areas of your life as they come to you. And determine how being led by the word and being led by the Most High, of course, like determine how you want to see these things in your life. And even when it comes to career, okay? I know y'all might feel like I don't talk about that a lot. I don't, because I don't have one. I don't have one anymore. My career is a stay-at-home mom, business owner, chicken wrangler, you know, floor mopper, whatever I need to be at the time. But if that's the track that you're on, are you fulfilled with that? Is that what you want to be doing? Can you better yourself? I'm being honest. Yes, we push entrepreneurship here at the House of Mono, but I have no qualms with telling y'all, like, if I wasn't married, I definitely would be Dr. So-and-so, a nurse practitioner so-and-so. I, of myself, am not entrepreneurial like my husband is. Like, that's him. That part of this is all him. So I get that some people aren't like that. Okay, but what are you doing? Like, even if you're not that, what are you doing? And yes, things are hard right here, but boo-boo, you can get free certificates on Google. There are colleges out here that offer free classes. So not really a lot of excuses anymore for at least not maximizing where you are. I understand some things you need a degree for. What are you waiting on for that? If that's what you want to do. And if you're at your job, are you putting forth your best effort? Listen, I get it, okay? I've been a union steward as well. I've worked in management. So I understand the back and forth and the game that is played. But what you have to do is shut out all of everything else and assess your position in it. Are you happy where you are? If you're not happy, what are you doing to change it? Why are you staying at a job 2, 3, 4, 5 years where you don't feel appreciated? Why are you there any more than 6 months to a year? I've always admired people who don't stay at jobs long because they are constantly climbing the ladder. I'm not talking about going from being a cook at McDonald's to a cook at Burger King. No. Upwardly mobile. I'm gonna stop. Yeah, I'm a cook at McDonald's today, but I'm gonna be a manager at Wendy's tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna be the general manager in 2 years. Upwardly mobile. Okay, you might not be entrepreneurial, but are you doing the best that you can where you are? Do you halfway come to work? You coming in late every day? Your check always short because you always taking days off, and then you wonder why you're not offered any type of opportunities for advancement. You're not consistent and you're unreliable. I'm sure that reflects in other areas of your life as well. A lot of times when we sit down to tackle something that we feel like is affecting one area of our life, we will start to see how it really affects every area of our life. Like, I'm a procrastinator. I have no problem telling you that. I love to procrastinate. Why do it today when I can do it tomorrow? Why do it tomorrow when I can do it next week? Okay, I'm that kind of person. But I acknowledge that about myself. And when I catch myself doing it, I can correct it. It's like, okay, are you putting this off? Or can we just go ahead and be done with this now? But if you won't acknowledge it, we love to make jokes about colored people time and all that stuff. And it's all ha, fun and games until you standing on the unemployment line because you couldn't get to work on time. Acknowledge it. Lord, I got a problem being late. I don't like waking up early in the morning. Well, ma'am, sis, cousin, maybe you need to get a job at night. Or maybe you need to work from home. Maybe you need to, get there at 10 or 11 instead of 6 or 7. If you're not assessing things and seeing where things can be improved, then how do you expect to move forward and make any kind of changes? How in tune are you with your family? Do you check in with your kids and see how they feel? Single moms? If you grew up with a single mom, try to put yourself in their shoes. And I know you may be thinking like, oh, well, the majority of Black kids come from single parent homes. Yes, but there are a lot of kids that come from 2-parent homes, and don't think that your kid does not see that. Don't think that your kid is not looking, because my kids were. And I know, I remember wanting a dad. Like, I remember, like, I just want a man to love me. As a kid thinking this, like, why won't anybody love me? So don't take for granted that your children are having these same feelings. And while they may not have the words to articulate it, this is where your relationship with the Most High comes in. Okay, this is where that discernment is going to come in. This is where he's going to start ministering to you about how to minister to your child. Some things you can't turn around in. I get that. Being a single mom, the water is up to your eyebrows. Okay? You can't turn around. I get it. So, but now what we got to do is start strengthening ourselves so we can swim in that in that deep ocean. You got to throw in your scuba gear and be ready to swim in that deep ocean. And here's the thing about the deep ocean. Life goes on. While you're swimming in the deep, there's still people out there having fun at the shallow end. Things aren't stopping. While you're swimming in the deep, focused on just trying to stay alive, the world is still turning around you. Bills are still coming due. Things are still happening. You still got deadlines at work. You still got to come home and cook every day. Like, it can be a lot going on. And so you can't just decide to live by the seat of your pants. Like, oh, well, I'll just take whatever's coming. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that applies in life too. That applies in life. If you are not growing, then you are dying. You are literally, again, just sitting there wasting time and resources, doing nothing with yourself because you refuse to stop, look, assess, and be honest. Think about it like going to the doctor for a physical, which you're supposed to do every year or two. They changed it recently. But for a minute there, I know you were going every year to get a physical, right? And what do they do in the physical? This is our time to check out your body systems from head to toe. They're going to check your heart, your lungs, your blood pressure. They're going to do a whole assessment to get the state of your health in this very moment. When is the last time you've taken an assessment of the state of your health, your mental health, your spiritual health, your financial health? When's the last time you've given yourself a physical, a mental, a spiritual, whatever you want to call it? If you are not, listen, rich people pay other people to do this for them. That's why they have accountants and lawyers and all this staff, assistants. They can afford to pay people to do this for them. Being a personal assistant to my husband and myself, I can tell you, he don't make doctor's appointments. I do. He doesn't care about his medicine. I keep up with that. If he needs, okay, can you do this for me? He calls me and I do it. So until you get to the point where you can afford an assistant, these are the things that you have to tend to. This is the meticulous, tedious. This is sorry y'all. This is the meticulous, tedious work that has to be done in order to make sure that we're moving forward in the best direction possible. You can't keep it's like if you don't give a kid a test. You're teaching him this stuff and you just crammed it in his brain, but you never stop to make sure that they understand what you're saying before you move on to the next thing. I can't explain to you 2 + 2 if you can't grasp 1 + 1. But we'll go ahead and try to grasp the knowledge of being a millionaire when we haven't even figured out how to manage the tens of thousands of dollars that we have. You're sitting up here trying to figure out how to be somebody's wife when you haven't even grasped how to be a friend to this person. We're always trying to think 2 steps ahead instead of fully completing the step that we're at now. It's always a rat race, always trying to get ahead, out hustle, outdo, instead of, okay, how can I do the best for where I am? I'm not worried about the next person. How can I do the best for where I am right now? Okay. No, my hair is not streaming down my shoulders, but how can I take care of and make the best of the hair that I have now? I saw a post the other day, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. It bothers me as women in Israel. It bothers me how much we get caught up in superficial stuff. All right. It bothers me because I fully subscribe to Paul's line of thinking when he says, I'll be all things to all people for the cause of Christ. Right? And so for me, what that looks like, practicality, what that looks like is, excuse me, honey, can you open the door, please? The fumes. What that looks like is, putting aside like small differences. Hold on, you guys. I'm sorry. what that looks like is putting aside things that don't pertain to the law. What do I mean by that? Listen, if she keep a lunar or if she keep the Friday, Saturday, it doesn't matter as long as she's observing the Sabbath and keeping the law, right? So the post I saw was about makeup. And it was like, do you wear makeup? Why not? Blah, blah, blah. And so the answers were varying, which is fine. Some of us wear it all the time. Some of us only wear it sometimes. Some of us never wear it at all. But what's not cool is the women who never wear makeup taking like a haughty stance towards the women who do choose to, or I'm going to say need to wear makeup. Some women do need it. All right. I know nobody needs makeup. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I've had problems with my skin before, and I know how that can affect your self-esteem. I mean, just you just don't even want people looking at your face when it's not, you know what I'm saying? When you're not able to put that best face forward, you don't even want people looking at you. So, like, I understand how hard it can be. And so that's why I'm going to say, no, some women need it. Some women need it to be able to face people throughout the day. But so the problem is the haughtiness when discussing it. And unfortunately, I see that for us when it comes to anything that may be viewed as like a modesty issue. Certain women tend to feel like, oh, well, I'm more modest and more holy than they are because of this, what I wear, and this, what I don't wear. And so I'm going to say this. As women who our main goal is to lead others, our main goal is to lead others in the right direction. There comes a time when you have to put your wants, your thought process and your feelings to the side. Okay? I'm not going to look crazy at my sister for doing something that I do or do not do as long as it's lawful. All right? So like I try not to eat meat. It's not a spiritual issue for me, it's a health issue for me. I just feel better when I'm not consuming meat on a regular basis, right? So say it was a spiritual issue for me. Say that like I did feel like, oh, I have to be a vegetarian because according to the Bible, and I gave you my precept, all right? As my sister in Christ, the way how I would handle that, okay, this is what my sister believed. This is a spiritual thing for her. I don't want to be a stumbling block. So when I'm with this sister, I don't eat meat. This sister don't like hanging out at restaurants. She feel like she shouldn't be out at restaurants where they're playing hip hop music late at night. Okay, so me and her got to hang out during the day. You have to be willing to even discomfort yourself. How do you expect to win souls if you're not willing to meet the person where they are? I was watching something. I don't remember if it was a movie or TV. No, it was a testimony. It was somebody's testimony. And he was talking about how he was witnessing to this young man, and he would see the young man every day. And one day, the guy asked him, "Can you give me a ride or something like that?" And he was like, "Okay, I'll be here to pick you up at such and such a time." For whatever reason, he couldn't make it to pick the person up at that time, but the local drug dealer made it to pick the person up at that time. And I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying, instances in that extreme, but I am talking about our obligation to meet a person where they are. Okay, listen, some of us only wear skirts. Some of us believe it's okay to wear pants. I am not willing to argue with it. It's not worth the contention. It's not worth possibly losing the soul. It's not an issue worth arguing about. So if my sister feels like it's wrong for women to wear pants, then I'm not going to wear pants around my sister. Period. If I'm going to a congregation where the women are not permitted to wear makeup, guess what? Then I'm coming to your congregation barefaced, because it's not about me. It's about the Most High and the work that needs to be done. I deal with some things right now. Some things my husband is totally cool with that other husbands are not okay with. And sure, in my mind, I'm like, that's stupid. Why do I have to change how I blah, blah, blah? Yes, that's what your flesh wants to say. But the goal is for us to not be a stumbling block to each other and to help each other make it into the kingdom. I can't expect to win you if I'm not even willing to respect you as a person. I can't expect a brother offended is not easily won. I can't expect you to want anything to do with me if, whether on purpose or not on purpose, I continually offend you. It's like, you ever walk up to someone like you at Kroger or something, and you walk up to somebody, ask for help, and as soon as they answer you, you be like, never mind. You be like, excuse me, ma'am, and then they turn around looking crazy, and you're like, you know what, never mind, I'm gonna just ask somebody else. But you playing with people's souls. Like, you playing with people's lives. That person coming up to you, excuse me, ma'am, and you giving them food, and then they turn around and go somewhere. They're going to another God. Where do you think they are going? And I'm going to say this. This is something that I did not think that I would have to deal with in the truth, but I have. So I'm going to just talk about it. Y'all cannot win people by bullying. I don't get that whole stance of defiance, of attitude, of like superiority in the course of ministry. That makes no sense to me. You're not going to bully me into believing anything that you're saying. In fact, the fact that you're bullying me is going to turn me off from it. I get that some things can be fun. But we also have to consider our audience, who we're talking to. What is the purpose of why we're talking to these people? And is what I'm about to say going to be helpful? And also, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. But, you know what I mean? That's something else that we need to learn. I don't wear makeup, but I don't look at other women crazy when they do. I used to, but I didn't need it. I don't know what the next sister needs in the condition of her skin. Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, you never know what someone is going through. And look, we know how sensitive we as individuals can be. All right, let's keep it real. Like, some days you look in the mirror and you think you're the baddest thing walking. And then other days you're looking like, Lord, please just put a paper bag over my head. Okay, so can we give each other some grace and some room for that? Like, can we allow each other to... We need to start allowing each other to express the same range of emotions that we feel within ourselves. Okay, but I feel like that's kind of like a maturity conversation, having that same grace for other people that you want for yourself. Some things we just need to hush our mouth and let the Most High do pruning unless we're led to say something. Yes, exactly. Another one of my favorite scriptures. Work out your own salvation. Just saying. Right. Okay. Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about here. It is neither good to eat flesh, nor to drink wine, nor anything whereby your brother stumbles or is offended or is made weak. You know, we claim we love each other, but we don't like to show it. Proverbs 18:90, a brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. And so are you keeping that in mind when you're dealing with each other? Even the people in your house, the very people in your house. Are you forgetting that they're souls too? And I know what you might be thinking, like, oh, well, my spouse is an adult. My husband, he got it. He did this. He did that. But why do you feel like, what about your husband, since I'm talking to the sisters, but what about your husband makes you feel like you can treat him any kind of way and he's still supposed to feel blessed by God to have you in his life? What are you doing to make him thankful? My goal is to have my husband praising the Lord, okay? Not just when we are finished ministering to each other, but in other things. I always want my husband to be thankful to the Most High for me. I always want him to see me as a blessing. I know that seeing my husband follow the leadership of the Most High, in the excellence that he does it in, strengthens my faith and my relationship with the Most High. It does. Not saying that my relationship or my faith was dependent on my husband's actions. I'm not saying that. But the righteous actions of my husband continue to strengthen my faith. It's seeing the good that God meant for me, living and walking and breathing and in action. And I want my husband to feel the same way about me. I want him to sit back and look at me sometimes and like, oh man, I am so blessed to have her. But do I deserve that? Am I that kind of person? Am I that kind of wife? Am I that kind of friend? I'm going to ask y'all a question. The Bible says that a good wife is a portion to a good man. So are you a good wife? And I don't like to phrase this to single women because you're not a wife. A wife is a title, okay? You're not a wife yet. But are you a good friend? Are you a good person? What do I mean by that? When I'm talking about dating and just people in general, are you honest? Are you forthright? Are you a truth teller? That's the basis of it right there. Or do you like to lie and deceive and play games? That you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You have to be willing, again, you have to be willing to have these hard conversations with yourself. A virtuous woman is a crown to her man, But she that maketh a shame is as rottenness in his bones. Listen, I don't think we understand the power that we have. And so here, like, for real, y'all, a man, don't get me wrong, like a man with a bad attitude is horrendous. Nobody wants to deal with that. But as I'm talking, and I'm not going to downplay it. I'm not about to downplay it and say, oh, but it's worse than a woman with an attitude. No, I'm not about to say that. Because a man with an attitude is like a 300-pound angry bear. Okay? I mean, he coming through and wrecking everything. And that the strength mixed with that anger, okay? That's dangerous. Not saying that we as women are not or cannot be just as malicious or damaging. But I'm sorry, I forgot where I was going with that. I was about to say something and I forgot. I was reading the comments. I was about to say I'm not a wife. I used to be brutally honest in my relationships, though I'm learning how to give soft answers and not have a nasty attitude. I was a mess in relationships. All praises for you being able to acknowledge that and see that. I'm gonna tell you something. As a person who is not as brutally honest, I'm honest, but I try not to be brutally honest in that I try to talk to people the way I want people to talk to me. Like, yes, I want you to tell me the truth, but I don't need you to be mean about it. Like, if I ask you about my hair, you know what I'm saying? You're like, ooh, girl, here, let me help you. Or maybe we can fix this. I would appreciate that as opposed to somebody, yeah, girl, your hair messed up. You need to go fix that. Yes, I asked you. Okay, but you don't have to talk to me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, a soft answer. And that, me and my husband have dealt, and sometimes we still deal with this. I'm going to be honest with y'all. We still deal with that because my husband is very much a straight shooter with me. If you were to interact with my husband, and as many people will tell you, he's so kind, he's so sweet, he's so this, he's so that, he's so funny, ha 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 ha, he's so charming, ha 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 ha. Yes, he is all those things. Okay? But also for the one that is closest to him, he is very much brutally honest. And as the receiver of that honesty, I'm going to tell you, yes, please, because that'll change the whole mood. Like the difference between, no, I don't really like that. Maybe we could try this. And girl, that's messed up. What is you doing? You need to fix that. Two different, you're going to get two totally different responses. So please, yes, soft answers, okay? Soft answers. Always striving to be the best friend possible. First to yourself. All right? Yes, we want to, and I look, I tell my daughters this all the time. Enjoy your life while you're single. Because once you become married, it is never about you anymore. It's never about you anymore. It's about your family, y'all's mission, the vision, your children. It becomes about your family. Your priority is no longer you. My daughters, they get up and go whenever they want. They want to travel. They buy their ticket. They out. They want to go out to eat. They go. They are living their lives for them the way that they want to. But in this, I tell them the same thing I tell y'all. Once you get married, you do not have that liberty anymore. And so check yourself, sis. Are you really ready to get married? Are you ready to share everything about your life, including your personal space? A lot of y'all say you want to get married. You say you want a husband. But I implore you to please do a very thorough self-assessment. And this is going to take time. I'm talking weeks, perhaps months, laying before the Most High and asking him to show you what you need to change to be the person that your future husband needs you to be. Because he knows you don't. He knows who that man is. Look at my sis. I love her because she's always so freaking honest. No, I'm not ready. I would like to be, but this is not the season for real, for real. Listen, just you acknowledging that is awesome because most women wouldn't even acknowledge that. What would they say? I'm a wife. I've been a wife. I've always been a wife. Listen, that's not true. That is not true. There are days that even me with my pink furry slippers and my best housewife in the world crown on, I still mess up. I don't always get it right. Sometimes I'm selfish. That is one thing I can say about me. And I'm going to say like I regret ever living alone. I do. I regret ever living alone. I don't think that people were made to live alone. And once you live alone, it's hard to live with other people. It is hard. I don't think that we were ever meant to be alone. But I'm just saying that to say, like, especially if you've been out there and you've been single, be honest with yourself. Do you really want to, before you go out here trying to date, talking about you're ready to get married, because dating without being ready to be married will get you in a lot of trouble. This is how y'all end up being baby mamas. Dating because you're not ready to get married, but you still hot in the pants. So this is how you end up baby moms. So for real, that honesty, shout out to you, Maya. Thank y'all for joining me on this evening. I hope something I said was helpful to you, whether you're listening to it live or on the replay. On behalf of everyone here at the House of Mono, thank you for joining us this evening. Y'all want to say shalom, fellas?
Shalom.
Do y'all enjoy boxing? You want to tell everybody about your boxing lessons?
Yeah.
What?
We have to run laps every day we go there.
How many laps do you run?
15.
15 laps. That is what I'm talking about. Say shalom to Auntie Angelina.
Shalom, Auntie Angelina. Every time we come on your podcast and say shalom to her.
Yeah, because she always says shalom, nephews. So you got to say shalom to Auntie Angelina. I've been noticing it's a daily learning to be a wife, and grateful to you and sisters teaching those who are wanting to be wives. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. I said, Con, ain't no nigga BMing me a third time. Okay, hello, I know that's right. You better put a ring on it. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, won't be a third time, okay? What you say? You have a joke? Okay, what's your joke?
What do you call cheese in a nacho that's not yours?
What you say? What? Say it loud. I didn't hear you.
What do you call cheese in a nacho not yours?
Cheese in a nacho that's not yours? What do you call it?
Nacho cheese.
Right. Thank you, Paxton. Wah, wah. I think we got that sound somewhere, but no, you get the drum riff.
I didn't mean to get that one. I was getting the one.
Oh, yeah. I don't know where the womp womp one is, but that definitely would have been appropriate at this time. Oh, my gosh. I meant to ask y'all something else, but I forgot. I don't remember. What do you want to tell them what we talked about the other day when we was leaving Publix? When we was talking about always say God willing when you're making future plans.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. You could talk about that.
So what do you want me to talk about? What do you want me to say?
What? So
We always want to wake up in the morning, God willing.
right. And what do we say? Who makes sure that we wake up in the morning? Is it us or is it God that makes sure we wake up in the morning?
God.
So we always have to give him his props, right? We never want to take it for granted that we're just going to wake up, right? So we always say, God willing, when we make future plans, right? Very good. You guys are so cool. I have some cool guys over here, y'all. I'm very, very thankful for them
One time.
and their sexy daddy that's out there working.
Yeah.
I like the mini fan. I don't even know where that fan
3
came
times.
from. All right, y'all, we about to get up out of here. I hope that something that we said was helpful on today or tomorrow, whenever you listen to it, or if you listen to it again. Turn it off.
Can't control us.
If you make clips, tag me, you guys. If you make clips of tonight's broadcast, I gotta get back on my clip making, content creating. Anyway, all right. Oh, thank you, Yamaya. Thank you to everybody that participated in the conversation. Listen, thank you for being here, even if you didn't participate in the chat. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe from wherever you are. We will see you maybe tomorrow for Sabbath Night Live. I'm not sure. I know we got a lot of work to do, so I don't know about that. But if we don't see you tomorrow, then we will see you Tuesday, 8 o'clock, Spirit-Filled Israel. Talk About It Tuesdays. Truth Be Told Flex Podcast. Wednesdays at 8:30. Y'all be sure you check them out too. Truth Be Told Flex Podcast. Great righteous content, current events, tied into prophecies. Love that show. And then come back here Thursdays, 9 a.m. for Bible study, 8 o'clock for Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass with me and the youngest members of the House of Mono. On behalf of all of us, though, we will see y'all next time. We love you. Shalom and good night. Oh, okay. You just had to do that. Now y'all just pushing the button. Okay, we love y'all. Good night. We out of here. Say good night, y'all. Why you do that? One time.